I'm sitting inside my house right now. It's nice and warm in here. Outside, it's cold, it's dark, it's snowy, and inevitably waiting for me is a bag of garbage to head outside. This kind of raises a question, though, of what exactly is it which we find so attractive about being in our homes, staying in our homes? Is it simply that they're warm and they protect us against the elements? Or is there something a little bit deeper which really characterizes our homes? We find an interesting thing at the beginning of this week's Parsha. The Torah tells us that there's a concept of having a Jewish servant, an Eved Ivri. And typically the Eved Ivri serves for 6 years, but if the Eved Ivri chooses at the end of his term of service, he can stay on. He can say, I like it here, I'll stay on until the Jubilee year. He has the right to do that. But if he does choose so, the Torah tells us that he's carted off to the court and he has his ear punctured to remind him, ideally, a man should only be in the service of God, and you have chosen to put yourself in the service of another man. We find an interesting thing, though. We find that the master accompanies the servant to the court as well. Why is the master there? Is it his fault that the slave made this choice? Says the great thinker, Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, yes, it is the master's choice. Why? The slave has spent the past 6 years living in this man's house. The slave has said, I like it here. There's good food. There's a nice bed. I'm happy being a slave. It's a good way of living. Had the master's house been defined not by the creature comforts it provided, but rather by the sense of the service of God, which was fostered in the house, the slave would have never made this choice. The slave would have never sacrificed being free to serve God as he pleased, only being subservient to God himself for a nice warm bed and some good food. What characterizes our homes? Are our homes characterized solely by the creature comforts which they provide for us? Or have we made our homes into places where the sense of the service of God is prevalent, where one walks in and can sense this is a Jewish home. This is a house where Jewish values are of the utmost importance. Something to think about. Stay warm and have a wonderful Shabbos.